time to get on into the grand final of this European Regional Championship of the Rocket League Championship Series. It is Method going up against Gale Force, a best of 7 to determine our champion and the number 1 and 2 seed going into the World Championships. As the commentary is Shogun and Bindable Carpet. Take it away, guys.
Control Europe, and therefore you control the world. That will be the mindset of both these teams heading into the European Regional Finals. Gale Force have already done it once. They've taken out and revenged one of their losses against PSG. Here is the second one. They lost to Method earlier on. Can they get the revenge and crown themselves regional champions?
And I think this is the time that a team needs to try and show their dominance and really try and threaten the rest of the world. This is the last regional playoff we're going to see. This is the last match we will see until LAN. A lot of eyes are on this, and I think this is when don't hold back. This is when you don't play passive. I understand you want the win, you want to play the safe game, but this is when you want to just full guns blazing, go all out, show everyone what you've got, and really make sure that you go into LAN making everyone doubt themselves, making everyone second guess, like, can we beat this team?
Absolutely. I mean, it's going to be, as you mentioned, a huge amount of time for these teams to adapt, to change between now and the LAN. But right now, at this moment in time, it's time for both of these teams to prove that they are the best in the region. And we are going to get into this game number 1 in this best of 7 Method versus Gale Force. And both these teams play roughly the same style. It is going to be a fast game. It is going to be an accurate game. You should expect to see some of the most precise Rocket League possible. We see K-Dop now currently on the wall. Violent Panda just looking to be a nuisance. In comes Turbo Pulsar. Opportunity for a counter-attack by Violent Panda already. All the way back. And Turbo, he's saying he loves this new Skyline car. It's been hard to argue against the results he's had. Midfield, Violent Panda. Couple of twirls on his way up as well. The follow-up from K-Dop. Method giving Gale Force a lot of room to work in, and Violent Panda will take advantage.
Simple double dedication. 2 in net, going up for the same save. K-Dop with a nice... They were waiting for it. Thought it would be a lot slower than it was. It was actually had a lot of pace on it, right into the crossbar, but both going for it will leave an open net for Violent Panda, and Gale Force will take the lead in the first game.
All within an opening minute. Method know exactly how that works out. They had a lot of those earlier on in their series. Ball now bounced up. Opportunity for Magnus. Gale Force would love to try and counter back as quickly as they possibly can. Passing to the mid side by a lot. 1-2, straight back over. Gonna go above the boost, or above the bar, I should say. Metznaris will take the shot. It's an open goal for him to aim at, and immediately we are all tied up.
This is kind of their tactic. It's what they feel natural doing. Metznaris immediately turning around to contest this as opposed to dropping back and buying time for his team. They feel much more comfortable in their opponent's half than they do their own, and it shows with plays like that.
So both teams have managed to cause a defensive mistake so far. Method double committing, Gale Force not committing. Now they're going to try and settle themselves back here. Plenty of time still left to play. Violent Panda will pass straight into the middle. Turbo Pulsar levers that one up high, and the lot will have to save Violent Panda's rebound shot. Gale Force refusing to go away, though, to start this off. Holding the midfield. Violent Panda gets to the end of the pass. So many passing plays being put right into middle, not allowing any defenders to come in for a challenge. It's going to be interesting to see who can control the majority of the pressure, because whoever does that can have more opportunities on the net, and therefore the higher quality of play.
Right now, we'll see Method always opting to put it around a defender as opposed to putting it on target. They've got a single shot on net, which is the one that resulted in a goal, so they're being patient with their shots, trying not to give up hard clears.
Turbo Pulsar in that Skyline. Got plenty of boost to try and go for a challenge, and he does get enough. A lot just tries to come in, but couldn't quite make contact, and now Method have got time to take it out, or maybe no, they don't. Demo on Metznaris from Violent Panda allows K-Dop just to be a little bit more of a nuisance over in the offense. We head towards the halfway point. Gale Force in control of possession, but still all tied up 1-1. They have to try and convert this now. Metznaris has the option to turn around. He will not take it, instead called off by a lot. K-Dop just playing the ball. You're going to see that quite often in the series as well. Just playing the ball, not necessarily for offense sake, but to keep it away from a challenging offensive player. Metznaris off the backboard will be followed up by Magnus, but it was challenged very well by Turbo Pulsar and gets enough of a win on the challenge to keep the ball away from his net. Gale Force on the upper end of the pitch can look for the counter-attack. Not able to turn it on net.
GALE always trying to push it. The moment that Method misses on an opportunity, Method always looking for each other. Not scared to cross the pitch, cross the field, and try and catch GALE when they face the wrong direction.
Oh, that was a difficult save to do. He will try and correct himself just in time. Method have got the opportunities. They're gonna get the goal as well. Magnus, with his first shot of the game, is gonna hand the lead over to Method.
Very close opportunities. Violent Panda with the first save and the second one. Him and Turbo both going for. I've said it a million times and I'll continue to say it. The best passes and the best tricks are barely missed shots. Just hitting that crossbar. Both players wanting to commit, not fully sure if it was going to be a net, pulling them both out.
A lot of these players always just expect you to hit the target. There's going to be a follow-up from Metznaris. That is going to be a two-goal lead. Method have gone from being quiet to start this game and suddenly have pounced and roared their way into the finals.
This was all about timing. Metznaris trying to get there before K-Dop can. Very interesting angle he had to make from that for the top of this card. Very difficult shot to make, especially at that pace. Well played by him.
So a minute and 45, GALE took the opening goal, but ever since then, it hasn't quite been going for them. They need to turn this around as quickly as possible. Not allow Method to try and consolidate their lead and start to sit on it. Turbopulsar just going to get it past Magnus. Going to put it straight back into the path of Metzer, though, and a lot hang around for a little bit longer than GALE were expecting, able to keep that pressure on. Players just popping at it anywhere, not quite sure where they're going to be.
You noticed it in the series earlier today. Method always positioning themselves and attacking the ball in a place that makes the opponent team probably just think, why? Why was he there? I swear I knew where they'd be, I can predict them, but for some reason, Method was there for that contest.
We saw last season a lot of the backboard plays being used. Not anymore. That's going to be a shot from Turbopulsar. And with 1 minute remaining, it is now a one-goal game.
I mean, the backboard plays, while they can be consistent and they're generally easier for these players to strike because these passing plays rely on a lot more accuracy from now two players because you need to get it to your teammate on that pass, which is kind of like an accurate shot. And then that player needs to use that momentum to take the shot. But they are much more creative and a lot easier to deter your opponent. Oh my God, almost tying it up right off a kickoff.
Turbo had two choices there. Slow it down and aim somewhere different on the goal, or just take the shot as quickly as possible.
I wonder which one he went for.
He went for the speed play, but was unable to do it. But the point I was trying to make originally is the fact that in order to get goals in this series, you're going to have to surprise your opponents. Neither of these teams are going to be making mistakes. So earlier on, that's what Mocket were banking on when it was in their series against Method, and they just weren't happening. You need to surprise your opponents and catch them out. A lot just plays it straight back over to K-Dop. Two players committed, but K-Dop has control. Turbopulsar does cut straight through, though, and hands it straight back over to Metznaris, who cannot grab solid control of the ball, and now consistent pressure coming out from GALE. They recognize that they've got 10 seconds remaining in order to tie up this game. Going to be a set play, pass into the middle, levered towards the ball. And towards the goal, K-Dop puts that one up high, but a lot will be waiting for it on the back wall, and game number one will head over to Method.
Still a close game, and I expect this to go to probably game 6 or 7. Wouldn't be terribly surprised. We've already seen a lot of close matches going to long series with these teams. A little bit safer than usual, but they're still putting up shots and getting creative, which you mentioned is what you're going to have to do with these two teams. This is it. You're at the top of the ladder. There's no more rungs. You can't climb much higher. These two teams, these 6 players have shown consistency all season. And that's why they're here. That's why they're in the finals. But that also makes it that much more difficult to rely on backboard plays. Because backboard plays rely on someone being a little out of position so they can't get to the hit. Or sometimes you can just time it really well.
Yep.
If they are grounded, you get a really hard hit on the backboard, then you've effectively outmaneuvered and outplayed them. But a lot of times when you're hitting on the backboard, you're relying on them not being able to react quick enough and hoping that. But I'd say 85 to 90% of the time, there's somebody that's clearing it out, carrying it, or doing whatever. Probably even more than that.
Yes.
Most of the time, those get pushed to the side. But every now and then, you get one. But as you said, yeah, creativity is going to be how you push through these defenses.
Absolutely. So game number one heading over to Method. Saw a lot of passing infield plays and having reasonable success, although I think it got taken to just a little bit too often that both teams were able to go, yeah, we know what you're doing because, well, we do that.
Yeah.
You know, you're not going to catch us out. It's like someone trying to out-air dribble Bluey. I don't think anyone's taken one past him yet so far this season. So you don't try and take on the masters, and when both teams are the masters of those styles of play, shouldn't really try it against them. It's going to be interesting to see which individuals are going to start stepping up now, controlling the ball, carrying the ball across field, and then going for their own individual setups.
Now, while it might not be tactically sound, I'd love to see one of these teams just go all out. Full offense, just bring out all the special weapons you have, try and get the beautiful passing plays, do the risky things. I think it'd be a great way for them to really shine before LAN.
Absolutely. Both these teams have got themselves experience on the big stage. There's going to be a shot, but a lot comes straight in. He was so useful earlier on for his team. He comes back in yet again and saves them. Staying all tied up to start up this matchup. Only 30 seconds gone. No K-Dot taking him past Mercenaries. He is just slippery every time he's got the ball, and you are going to have a rough time trying to catch him. Final Panda. So straight over to Mercenaries, who was looking for a lot, just too far ahead of him. Mercenaries says fetch, a lot says not a chance. The backboard, Magnus could have an opportunity, but Turboposa has got it read very well. Now for backboard comes K-Dot, who is controlling the ball very well in this series, just needs to find a way of getting past the barrier that's been set up for him every time he tries to play the ball in midfield. Violent Panda takes out one of the offensive players. Magnus going to rotate back, knowing that he is currently 2v1 until, well, defending player or the managed player can come back in. A lot. It's going to have plenty of time. I think anyone on either team really expects a major mistake to come out, and that might end up costing just a little bit when those mistakes do end up happening because no one's going to be around. Yeah, and also generally either waiting or not waiting around, you're always going to take a little bit of a hit in speed, whether you're waiting for that mistake or not expecting whatever. Sometimes you have to kind of take the contest, even if you think they're going to get there. Try and keep possession for yourself. Make sure you control that boost. But I understand, obviously, hindsight 2020. Whenever you see it in the replay, like, yeah, you should have contested that, buddy. But in these highly, I guess, quick. I don't know what word I'm looking for here, but in these really fast plays where you have to react really quickly, it gets really difficult. 2 minutes now down, still all tied up at 0-0. K-Dot looking for Turboposa, who will set that one straight back down to the Method defense. Still in the middle, a little bit of a contact made by Method, but it's still the passing play. Usually see those sort of passes being used from defense to midfield, but now being used from midfield to offense. Very interesting use of those, like, straight on passes. Panda just trying to pull some players out from the defense as we hit the half time. And a lot puts it straight up. We're going to ask some questions of the defense. Panda going to take it by himself as now the wall up the side of the wall. Turboposa gets the setup. Here can come K-Dot. 2 players now out. Mercenaries will take on Violent Panda, and Mercenaries, beautiful touch from him, keeps it away from anywhere that Gale Force can follow up. Really has been a quiet game. That is the 4th shot right there for Gale Force, and only a single shot for Method. So both teams are playing relatively quiet. Gale Force having a little bit more offensive pressure, but only that last drive was really the more threatening one this match so far, and we're already 3 minutes deep. Method's offense has mostly consisted so far of long balls and hoping to get to it first, or someone just cutting straight through. So far, not quite working out. Gale Force just as quick in the air. K-Dot going to go by himself yet again, and once again, he is stopped in the midfield, this time by Magnus. Might be able to turn that one around, but couldn't recover in time. So, still all tied up, 90 seconds remaining, a lot by himself. Can deal with that one pretty well, but still shots coming straight in off the backboard. Now Violent Panda looking for a way out, but still every single time either team is only committing to a 2-1 rotation. No overcommitments. No one really just willing to say, okay, this is everything. We are ready to go because, well, the opportunity hasn't presented itself yet. And in situations like that, that's where you'll see the very low-scoring games, which have its pros and cons. And the issue about that is you're really relying on a single opportunity just like that. K-Dot will find a hole in net from the midfield, the pass from the corner, and he will secure the first goal this game. One single mistake. Magnus tries to get up, couldn't get anywhere near it, and that will hand over the first goal in this game to Gale Force. Still 1 minute and 1 second remaining. I think there was a no demolition treaty signed by a lot of teams in Europe today, because it really has been quiet, especially because it generally is the region that had a lot more physical play. And I expected to see more, but it's like North America is wasteland and Europe is utopia when it comes to styles of play. Speaking of, Panda just going to leave that for K-Dot as Magnus can come in. One tap. That's going to be very difficult to follow up, though. You just see how the defensive styles of these teams is working out so well. They just send one player, not necessarily to win the ball, but just to force the move. And the second player just comes in for the sweep straight up. Violent Panda going to be by himself. He's actually got his setup for K-Dot, who does take the shot. Unfortunately for him, Magnus was right up next to him. Will not allow anything to happen cleanly, but in this scenario, it is a reverse of last time. This time, Method are currently chasing the lead, and it's going to get even further away from them. K-Dop's going to make it 2.
So if you're on defense, and you're essentially dealing with a team that keeps pushing onto you, a lot of times you'll see what the players will do is they'll center themselves and pop it up high, especially if they have the boost to deal with it. Let's say they're not getting boost start. They'll pop it up in the mid so that they can follow it for a 2-touch in the middle, which sounds risky on paper, but a lot of players have a tendency to wait by the wall to try and save boost or to be able to keep on offense without a whole lot of boost. So you'll see that a lot, especially with both of these teams popping it up in the middle and then following it through. It's kind of not really irrelevant, but it's a thought I wanted to speak on.
Don't often get a chance to get that off our chest there, Carpet, but an important stat to note right now, very simple one. And it is going to be that both of these teams have taken 1 game apiece. Plenty of work left to do. 3 games left to take each, I should say. And Gale Force, they're looking a lot more confident in themselves in that game. Just kept the rotation clean and allowed Method to beat themselves.
They want to keep this, again, a close series. Not surprised at all. 5 shots to 3. That's still pretty quiet for both of these teams. We've seen that kind of in the latter half of the day. Teams really being passive and respecting each other. You said the 2-1 rotation, which to kind of break that down is you put 2 up and leave 1 back. So there's always that safety of pinches, always that safety of breakaways. You always have that guy in the back. And essentially all that last defender's job is to buy time for the other 2. So all he has to do is put it in the corner. He doesn't do anything fancy. Kind of maybe smack on top of it, ride the thing, just get on top of the ball, whatever you need to do. Slow the ball down, let your players come back, let them retreat and pick up boost on the way. And that is also the passive play, though, because a lot of, plays require that 3rd touch, require that 3rd shot to come in. And when you don't have that 3rd player, you're not going to get that 3rd touch.
It is actually, it's very difficult. That does sort of work a little bit more whenever the ball's been playing on the floor a lot, but both these teams are very aerial-based teams. So you get 1 up, you get 2 up, and then the play's just sort of done because you're immediately having to fend on top of that. But it is something that we do see quite often when it comes to these major matches, is that obviously there's different rankings of pressure that you've got on you. If you're a ranked team, we see that is when you're playing at your absolute best. That's usually where you show the most personality that you have in your team. And we've seen, as we've gone through the RLCS, just the more pressure you put on a team, the more that they will start to head towards that 2-1 rotation. Just trying to make sure, all right, we're playing well and we're not making mistakes.
Yep.
Either way, going to need to take more and more risks if you want to be crowned the European Regional Champions. This is going to be our 3rd game between Gale Force and Method. Both of them taking 1 game apiece in pretty close affairs by 1 goal and 2 goals each. Magnus setting that straight down for a lot. A lot is going to be a very difficult shot, but he is going to make it. Opening goal within 21 seconds.
Now they're following each other. Magnus getting up, beating Violent Panda into that contest, dropping it to the middle, and a lot. We've seen him get some dirty angles, and that is a dirty angle.
That counts as a doink.
Does it?
It does count as a doink.
I guess it technically wasn't a second.
I will speak to the doink master, but I believe that counts.
1 for the doinks, I guess.
1 maybe. There's going to be Method trying to make it 2. There's a shot from a lot, but immediately shut down from K-Dop. Just knew the shot was coming in and then repositioned himself for it. The Violent Panda is low on boost and going to require Teleposit to come in and help him out. 1 goal from Magnus. It's going to be very difficult to try and deal with from Gale Force, but they have done so. And now it's going to be a lot by himself, trying to find an angle and trying to find some space where Gale Force just couldn't immediately shut him down and get the rest of his team back on the rotation. Mets looking for this backboard again. Method are relying on it quite often, still yet to get any major results from anything that wasn't just a straight-up shot that they had a rebound on.
They're doing the rebound, or the backboard shots, I should say, when no one is on there, so you're always seeing them have to chase it out from net, and that's generally where you'll see mistakes more frequently, because that's hard to time. You have to jump a little bit early. You have to predict a little bit in your head. And players can usually do it consistently, but you're looking for that 5% error, right? You're just looking for the low end. You do it enough times, and somebody will be a little bit late to it, and you'll have an open shot.
Lots. It's another long clear. He's going to try and go for the follow-up, but Violent Panda should always win that. Either way, pressure handed over to Method. Going to see if they can try and make this lead go up by yet another goal. A lot going to leave it for the time being. Wait for the challenge to come in. Magnus, every single player actually all clumped up in one area, apart from Violent Panda, who we see still on the goal line.
3 in the corner.
There's a huge amount of potential that any touch that does go wrong for them would have caught them out, but this is going to allow Gale Force to sort out their rotation, or has it? 2 of them still pretty close to one another, but no double commit. And there's going to be the pass straight over to a lot, still finding the midfield. Gale Force, they've got two options right now. They either challenge the midfield or they allow that to continue happening, because a lot has just been almost like a shadow in that area, waiting to come straight out and take a shot whenever needed. But they can either challenge it or they can leave themselves on the goal line. Either way, the decision does need to be made. There's a lot yet again. He is a moment of brilliance away from a second goal.
He got a demolition as well. I think it really would pay dividends for Method if they were able to get a couple more demolitions on Gale Force. The moment they're trying to retreat, they know they can do two-man attacks and defense, so...
Oh, Violent Panda hits the crossbar, Metznaris, and a lot. A lot hits the ball, Metznaris hits a lot, and neither of them will care as long as the ball is away from their net, but it's only going to be a temporary reprieve as Magnus now forced to get a save of his own, and once again, a lot in the midfield. He is their get-out clause right now. It is not get the ball out of their half, it is get the ball to a lot. Now over in the corner, Turbopulsar going to continue to be challenged. Magnus off the backboard, still more time being wasted. 100 seconds left in this matchup. As one goal still separates the Metznaris does get challenged from K-Dop, and a lot has to deal with this. Gets a push into the corner, but Turbopulsar will be first. Magnus just getting there before K-Dop, shutting down the window of opportunity. And Method don't really look all that panicked, but how much boost do they have? K-Dop looking for the doink. It's not going to be too dangerous, but still continuous pressure coming out. Violent Panda is going to pick up the boost in the background as well. So Method do need to get it out, and they have done so. The time limit was starting to come towards an end for them there before they were going to be in a complete drought of boost. A lot back into the corner. Still 1 minute remaining. Still one goal separating them. Gale Force with it all to do as we head into the tail end of this third game. Violent Panda hasn't really got any options to aim for, so instead goes to the corner. Going to want to try and follow this one straight up. Instead, forcing the move out from Metznaris, who wants to try and find K-Dop. Good block there from Magnus. Will not allow any follow-up plays from Gale Force. And with 30 seconds remaining, they're going to need a slight stroke of brilliance. But Violent Panda, who took too much time for that play, unable to find the pass. K-Dop with the setup. Still Gale Force. They've had continuous chances to create, no opportunities to finish. As they maintain possession in the Method half. And with 10 seconds remaining, they've got to find a way through. K-Dop flicks it up. There is no one to follow up apart from Violent Panda, who is facing the wrong way. And Magnus can take this all the way down to the other end of the pitch now as soon as this ball touches the floor, which it will do right now. Method will take their second win of the series and claw that much closer to the regional championships.
They do still need 4 wins total in this best of 7, and you will see 6 shots for Gale Force, none of them finding the back of the net, and only 3 for Method. They started to play more passive once they were up. I think Method are kind of going for that. You know, I think we talked a lot about, I don't want to say controversy, but we talked a lot about the topic of when you're up, do you change your play style? Do you just stick with what's getting you the goals and helping you win, or do you change? Method seems to be changing. They're getting what it takes to get in that goal, then they're playing very passive, which makes sense generally.
Yes.
This is the finals. You know that Gale Force will be giving you their all, and you don't want to underestimate them. So leaving that person in the back, getting ready for anything wild or anything very quick, knowing that people can turn things around very quickly. Any player on this pitch is capable of doing so. But I don't know, do you feel like there's anything special that's happening right now? Does it just seem like they're playing textbook, clean, smart?
I think this is pretty much where Rocket League is going to end up going right now, where the first goal has become worth more and more and more, even no matter when it's scored, to be completely honest. Right now, if we see one goal, it's usually within 2 minutes remaining that we think it's going to become really important.
Yeah.
But as we saw with last season's grand final and with these matches that we're seeing today, that opening goal is so important and could always be just the one goal that we see all game. But yeah, I think that's an important thing to know. We've got to remember Rocket League is a game of consistent twitch decision-making. You've got one option whenever the ball comes towards you, or you've got 2 options whenever the ball comes towards you, and you just say, okay, I either attack it or I defend it, a fight or flight sort of mentality.
Yeah.
And whenever you're in the lead, usually flight tends to come into decision. Violent Panda wanted to take control of the ball, but instead he gets punted out of the way. Magnus also looking for K-Dop. But to Gale Force to now pull themselves back into this series, they'll be looking for this game almost out of desperation.
Speaking on that too, I think you'd probably rather lose getting outplayed on defense than by potential creep.
Oh, you're going to get outplayed there, but Turbopulsar, reaction times are just that quick for him. Gets there just in time, but a lot is going to follow up. All three players have committed an opportunity for Metznaris, but it's going to be a very awkward angle. A lot going to try and drop that one straight down, but two players on the goal line. And Gale Force have got away with it. Carpet continue.
I've already lost it. Don't worry about it.
Okay. Okay, perfect.
Other things. I can talk if you like.
No.
I just want to hear my voice.
Dude, your voice is...
My velvety voice.
Dude, your voice is just gorgeous, okay? New bros.
All right.
Turbo Pulsar. He's going to clear this straight out. A lot, though, is sat around. Long balls will not be overly useful in this series. Everyone's usually going to have someone back. Metznaris does try and get a block. Turbo Pulsar has got time. He's going to play straight back to Violent Panda, who I don't think really expected it. Just more of a case of, hey, this is yours now. Okay, that's, yep, that's a thing. Turbo in the corner. He's going to have to try and get a block on Metznaris, but Metznaris does come out better. Shadow play from Violent Panda still doesn't work. Metznaris consistently getting blocks. Couldn't quite do it for a third time. And now this is Gale Force's opportunity to create something, but they already realized that that pass was too close to the defenders. No real need to commit. Turbo Pulsar with one flick, going to try and get a block. This has been something that Gale Force has done multiple times so far this series. Just they get Method into the final third, but finding a way of really opening up a good shooting opportunity, that's just been lacking a little bit.
There's one core decision that I've noticed has changed in Rocket League over the last season. When you're at the midfield contest, if I'm on offense and I'm at midfield and I'm contesting, instead of just smacking it back in, we see a lot of players crossing.
Oh, Magnus with an absolute peach of a shot off an even better pass.
This is why I don't bother trying to analyze. I just get interrupted, but Metznaris straight down to Magnus. Nothing Violent Panda could do. At his best, he could try and predict it with a double jump, but then you're still opening up so much of the net. He was a deer in the headlights, and Magnus will secure a goal in game number 4.
Method are like snakes whenever they play. They just slow down, they make you think that they're all passive, and then they strike.
I was wondering what you were going with, the snake thing.
It was good. It was good. I eventually got there.
Yeah.
I had the thought process in my head. It's good to see that you just don't quite trust me.
It's more... Yeah, no, I don't trust you.
Could have at least made me feel somewhat better, but Method will feel pretty good on this one-goal lead. Half the game still left to play, and Gale Force will find them trailing yet again. They find themselves a way through. Magnus can't quite beat K-Dop, and now all three players yet again from Gale Force were in the corner, but no challenge from Method will mean they'll probably get away with it pretty easily. A lot shot will be straight towards an oncoming K-Dop. There's going to be a shot yet again. Violent Panda unconvincing, but the follow-up from Turbo Pulsar will be there. Metznaris did read it, however. Seeing a lot more of these players not necessarily going for the immediate challenge, but instead trying to play exactly where they feel like the save is going to go. Get themselves almost immediate rebounds. Metznaris, what great control that was. Just killed it dead on a wall nonetheless. I can't stop the ball from moving when it isn't even moving to start with.
That's actually real bad, Show.
It is really bad.
That's pretty bad. I've heard some bad things today.
North American Grand Champ. Turbo Pulsar end up struggling with this. Metznaris did commit, however. I don't think he needed to. Should have just let Turbo Pulsar burn himself out in the air.
He was alone up there. That's what you usually don't see at a Method. Letting that solo player go out there and contest, even if he's got some control and it's in the corner, not a lot of angles to pinch out, but one goal up. They're getting a little passive, but I'm scared they may pay for it soon. We see Gale Force turning it around and getting a lot of control on offense.
Every single match that Method has won has been roughly like this. That's going to be the shot, but Metznaris has got it red, has got the save, and now a lot down to the other end will put it into the back of the net. It can change just like that.
There's some flip-flop. Metznaris save a lot, turning around so quickly to chase that down. Who would think that would have gone from defense to offense so quickly? To look at your player, look at your teammate making that save and think, I think I should go chase this down.
And once again, it was something that we did highlight earlier on, a lot in the midfield. He is the option right now for Method, and he is turning out to be one heck of an option.
He doesn't like his own hair.
Well, we've already seen what he can do from ceilings, so I think you can definitely agree with that choice. A lot is going to currently have an argument with Turbo Pulsar in the net, who will recover and turn himself around. So Gale Force previously struggled from coming back from 1 goal down in the same situation. Now they're going to have to come back from 2, otherwise they're going to be 3 games to 1 down in this grand final matchup. 16 seconds remaining. They're going to need something right now if they want to have any chance of this. Ball currently up high. Magnus will win this outright. Going to grab himself some boost, and that should be the end of it. Pulsar just gets a frustrated demo. Metanaris just gets himself a clean fake. This is what Method are capable of.
With 4 seconds left, Method will take the 3-goal win, potentially 2-goal win. I should be confident, but you know, I always want to make sure that I give teams the credit. Give credit where credit is due. I know everyone's very capable of getting the 0-second goals, but there's no way they will score 3 goals in time. Method will be on match point, trying to become the European champions of the RLCS Season 4.
I feel like that last goal was just the dirtiest thing I've seen in a while. Upon second viewing, it was a demo, and then he faked the ball in the middle of the smoke.
Smoke screen, baby.
It's like, okay, I can mind game you if you can see the ball, but you haven't got a chance if you can't even see anything.
Well, I mean, it was blinded, so they're just like, he's probably going to take this shot. I'm just going to go for it. And then he didn't.
So Method,
A little bit of BM.
1 game away. They have been able to just come back from every single opportunity. This is a team that has bounced back from the biggest heartbreak of their careers last season. And now, championship point. That is huge for them. But Gale Force, not known for giving up quite so easily. Remember, these teams actually played each other just a couple of days ago, actually. And Gale Force did take it 4 games to 2. So I expect there's still to be plenty of fight left in them.
As far as the way teams are playing, they feel very similar. And I know, and they do kind of play a very similar play style, but I think the biggest thing is that I don't see standard roles as often as I am right now.
Yes.
You very rarely just see one person being the cheat guy or one person being the defender. And it's very obvious right now, a lot is the cheat guy. A lot is just always.
I want to use your point now to kind of emphasize why we're seeing the difference, though, why Method has currently got the games up that they do, because no one's doing that for Gale Force right now. Gale Force are playing a standard style, whilst Method are keeping themselves a trump card around, and that trump card is a lot. And right now, they haven't made any mistakes for it, so they're going to be able to make use of the extra width and options that a lot does give over to them. Speaking of the devil, going to hit that one straight off the backboard, but it will be immediately countered. Every single time, though, Method seem to be on the backboard, or at least on the midfield. I should correct myself. Ready to turn this one straight around. Game number 5. Gale Force would love to finish this off right here. It's going to be Gale Force, though. Just a Method that we're going to try and finish this off right here. Either way, Gale Force now on the offense. Magnus just going to take his time. Going to be somewhat thankful for that bounce from the post. A lot of long balls being played to start off this game. I think that's actually very smart from Gale Force as well, just to have the long balls playing, because what they were previously going for wasn't quite working. Now passing play into the midfield. Almost worked out, but Method did have players back that could just immediately pounce forward. Magnus over to a lot, just couldn't reach it. A whisker away from a shot on net. 1 minute down, we're still all tied up at 0-0.
Method always looking for that chance. The moment that Gale Force commits 3, they want to try and get a shot up as quickly as possible. Once they see the third one take that shot, the timer starts ticking, and they try their best to get a shot off as quickly as possible.
K-Dop straight into the path of a lot. Violent Panda will have to place one straight down. As Magnus going to put this up in the air. Very aerial-based game we've seen so far. Metanaris with a shot. The follow-up touch as well from Metanaris. Don't know how much he knew of it. He'll take it nonetheless, and Method can maintain offensive pressure until the clear came through from Turbo Pulsar. Come from absolutely everywhere. We were talking earlier about surprises. That, I think, surprised absolutely everybody. Magnus flicks it straight up. K-Dop can put it up high. There is currently going to be rotating the back defenders from Method, but it's still going to be difficult for them to deal with. And that is why you just don't overcommit unless you know you're going to get a goal. Gale Force can pick up their first.
This is that low percentile backboard defensive mistake that you're looking for. They don't happen very often, but when they do, the shot could not be easier. There's always that one player. So you don't want to double commit on net. You're committing one player to take that backboard save, and if they're not there, especially when they're retreating, there won't be anyone there for the second touch, and you'll give yourself a wide open shot.
Method have looked strong this series, but I think they just got themselves a little bit too comfortable there. All 3 players in the Gale Force half, and they didn't create any real opportunity from it, and they do end up regretting it, as K-Dop puts the ball straight up. Turbo Pulsar thinking better of that. He's going to have to, because currently Method can go for the breakaway. There's a lot with the shot and Violent Panda. That is how you rotate into defense. Get easily able to take the ball away and keep it away from a potential Method offensive strike. Magnus going to tap that one straight on. Gale Force will say thank you very much for that. Can move themselves into offensive positions. Violent Panda was looking for a pass, but considering 2 players has already committed to the same bull, and one of them had whiffed. No one really going to be around. Still dangerous for Method to find themselves a way back into the series. Still 1 goal down and more offensive time that Gale Force can get a hold for themselves. More time that will be wasted away from the clock. Violent Panda with a pass straight over K-Dot. He's low boost. Oh no, he's not actually. He had plenty, just decided to go for an unorthodox shooting style. Still 1-0 to Gale Force low. That's Norris can't take the shot, but Violent Panda reads it well, gets his body in the way. Not allowing that to happen. Back down to the other end of the pitch. This is probably the most end-to-end gameplay that we've seen for any of these games so far. Gale Force finding their width right now and just seem to be able to play the ball just a little bit faster than Method have so far.
And the interesting side effect of this end-to-end is that both teams are always kind of struggling a bit for boost, which is why they end up needing to give up some shots. The moment they finally bring it all the way down, all 3 have used nearly all of their boost.
Oh Violent Panda! You beaut you!
Gibbs calls him VIP for a reason.
Look at that.
Oh, what
and just hits it with the bottom of the car.
A little bit of flair to that shot as well. Violent Panda reminding us how good he is.
I'll talk about confidence booster for your team as well. In a series where you usually have to fight tooth and nail for every single shot that you get, to get a goal as individually brilliant as that, says the rest of your team, you know guys, I'm going to step up right here. So 2 goals is the difference between Gale Force turning into a 3-2 series. Method still on tournament point. Silver Pulsar gets the pass over to K-Dop, and Gale Force really starting to step up right now. The follow-up from K-Dop just not powerful enough. He had to come in from an awkward angle. And there is Magnus. Wins the challenge outright, but there were still players on the goal line. All right, now Carpet, looking at this Gale Force squad, what is the major difference between this game and the last few?
I mean, it feels like a lot of boost control. Every time I go to any of the perspectives from any player on Method, they've got no boost. Maybe one of them has full, but right now 2 of them have 0. They just can't keep up the pressure, and we know they're high flyers. They're incredibly quick to the air, but you can't get anywhere in the air without any boost.
The problem with having low boost as well is that often in rotation, every single player is needed. The ball's going to come towards you whether you want it or not. Magnus, a player off the wall, but with 8 seconds remaining, this is probably going to be the end of this matchup. Gale Force responding in such a big way, taking this game, and they've looked solid doing it.
Now 3 games to 2. Really trying to mount that comeback. It was looking a bit dire right now. We do see Method still on match point. They just need 1 more victory. The shots definitely more even that time. We're looking at 5 shots to 5 shots. 2 were going in for Gale Force, so a bit more accuracy, but it really felt like Method were just always starving and always thirsty for boost. They couldn't find it. They were always, whenever they gained possession and crossed that midfield line over into Gale Force's half, they were able to get 1 or 2 shots, and then they had to start retreating. That's why there's much more spread than we usually see. That mid-control on Gale Force right now, I think they've identified that. They know that Method likes to beat them to the ball, but they need boost to do that. So they're starting to cripple them at the source.
Yeah, absolutely. This is turning into a game which has got just an extra, like a sub-game happening over in the side. One of them is obviously, yeah, you need goals, you need to get, you know, them to win. But the other part of this is, how much boost can you control? Because both of these teams, in order to get those goals, they need to be in the air. That's the way that they do like to play. And without that resource, it's impossible to really get any of that gameplay going. So it's a game within a game right now, and Gale Force coming out better in that one. And it's going to be a much closer series right now. 3 games to 2 as we head into game number 6. Just going to keep our eyes on that as we head into this one. But for Method right now, just need to be a little bit more, I don't want to say patient, they need to be quicker off the kickoff, is what I want to say. To have the first eye going, yeah, okay, we need to get the ball, but also get yourselves over, get those side boosts as quickly as you can, because if you don't, Gale Force will take advantage and now put early pressure on.
And something to think about, if you are on the team that has a lot of control and is controlling a lot of the boost, you want to keep it away from walls, because walls are a cheat. Oh, no. K-Dop starting off immediately, 9-second goal. We see a mistake here, a lot and Mensa both going for it. No one coming in net. Magnus and Alot both struggling for boost. Magnus had 0 by the end of that. Alot had 4.
I feel kind of vindicated with that particular goal, because Violent Panda won the kickoff, immediately took boost, played the ball over, and then went for a bump. just straight from the off, and that is going to hand over the early lead over to Gale Force, looking to capitalize on their previous win in our last series. A lot plays the negative angle, but it's going to be a long time until the follow-up can come in, but Metzinaris has done a decent amount with that. Violent Panda now with the ball by himself. Takes it past Magnus. Going to play one up top as well, but the angle is going to mean Turbo Pulsar says, not a chance, my friend. Solo play was great, but there's nothing else I can do after that one. Gale Force starting to show off some individual brilliance, but Metzinaris showing some defensive brilliance, getting that one up high, but still, Method are not in the clear just yet. I'm sure that they would like to get a clear and get this ball away, but still stuck in their own end. And now, Carver, I hate to do this to you, but I want to put you on boost watch right now when it comes to Method in this position. Yeah,
they're clearly struggling right now. Only, not even, none of them above 30 boost. One of them has, 2 of them have 0. This is a really tight spot.
K-Dub taking the shot, and a lot cannot get there in time. Everyone just sitting around and going, have you got any? I don't have any. There is nothing Method can do in this situation.
Imagine team chat just spammed with need boost, need boost. You can see the left one finally did spawn, but you need to be in net. You essentially, these are calling. If you leave net, you're just going to leave it wide open. At least try and be there as some kind of body to block. You've been recruited as a defender, but if you can't go out and steal some boost, that requires a lot of organization from your team and a lot of coordination to make sure that someone is still in net while one of you goes to at least get something to help defend.
Gale Force picking themselves up a 2-goal lead in this match. The lot plays it over into the corner. Once again, Method stuck on the defensive end, and Gale Force are just going to restrict them into their own half. Violent Panda just plays that one straight down to middle. There's going to be a follow-up very late from K-Dub, but it gets it back over to Violent Panda. Lovely 1-2 passing play. Result was just not a goal, however. Too much of an angle for K-Dub to work with to try and get a shot. Magnus going to come in with a shot of his own, and Violent Panda powers it away, but it still will not end up moving just yet because Metzinaris can't keep the ball in. Method recognizing they do need a goal and they need it quickly. Cannot allow Gale Force to settle into their own rotation. A lot passes it straight down to Magnus. Magnus, just the contact was not enough, and that should be offensive pressure letting up. The Method have got themselves another opportunity. Gonna go off the crossbar. A lot with the follow-up hits the post as well. It has not gone in. Now the counter-attack down to the other end of the pitch. K-Dub takes the shot. It's completely open, and it will go in for a 3rd goal. Gale Force survive, and they thrive.
I cannot imagine being a lot. You watched Method feel rejuvenated the moment they pulled it out of their half. They were starting to get boost touch after touch, really starting to put the shots on. They have 6 shots now. Prior to that, they didn't even have half of that. But that dedication to the last shot, a lot thought he had it. It was sitting right there, but the unfortunate pinch on the post will clear it for his opponents.
And I'm reminded of a Lot's counter-attacking goal that settled one of our previous matchups. Gale Force just saying, you know what, it doesn't feel good, does it? But K-Dub is going to make it 4, and this match is becoming huge. Method were on a great streak, but now they've taken 1 loss, and now they're taking a beating.
Gale Force has figured them out. I mean, just that last attack from Method right before the unfortunate pinch that was horrible to watch. They all of a sudden woke up. You saw them taking touch after touch, contesting nearly everything, but it's because they got boost. You can see when they feel comfortable. And once that gets pulled away from them, it's almost like they're lost children. They don't have their dad, and they don't know where to go, but it doesn't seem to matter. 4 goals down, they're still finding ways to make opportunities. Magnus over to Metzinaris. The 1-2 passing play through 3 defenders. They have 2 minutes for 3 goals. They've started the climb.
It's one heck of a climb. We're not going to make a mention to a certain somebody, because I think this one would be a mountain even higher than him. K-Dub going to take his time. Metzinaris does get a block. Here comes a lot. Looking to try and sell this one down to Magnus. The passing plays from Method. Just feel the wheels starting to turn right now. They're getting to find one another. And the angles that they are getting are going to be so difficult for Gale Force to handle. Metzinaris puts it straight down. There's going to be an opportunity for follow-up. Almost landed on the ball.
K-Dub got bumped. It might leave a slight hole. They have finally fixed the rotations, and they're clearing it out Turbo and Metz to deal with it in the corner.
Magnus, the flick on, but both him and Metzinaris had the same idea. 90 seconds remaining now. They need 1 goal every 30 seconds. They don't even have a chance of pushing this into overtime. But Violent Panda, he's happy to go 1 versus all right now. And playing the ball back towards his own half, recognizing it'll be actually more difficult for Method to play if they have to run onto a ball that is running away from them. There's Violent Panda, just going to take the shot a lot. Didn't actually expect it. You could see him trying to play for the pass, but instead it never came.
Yeah, he played assuming that would be off the backboard. Violent Panda, I think a lot had known he was being followed by a second player. Known Turbo was behind him, so he suspected he'd see the pass off the sidewall, thinking the Violent Panda would opt for that, but instead, the low shot to the corner, he reacted just a bit too late for that.
Gale Force, this is massive right now, because not only are they taking a win that can force Game 7, but they would go into Game 7 with all of the momentum. Right now, if you're Method, maybe give up on the matchup, but go for at least one more goal. Break the momentum that Gale Force has. Because right now, they are looking solid. Okay, up off the wall, 40 seconds remaining in this match. That's a lot. That was a lot of power from him. It just seems like a lot's the best at just taking shots on a wall without jumping. It's a very, very special niche that he has for himself. Over into the corner, K-Dot can take his time, and with 23 seconds remaining, we can confirm that we are going to head into game number 7. And to be completely honest, I'm going to say that again, because I just realized what I just said right there. Carpet! We're going to go into game number 7 in this grand finals.
You know what that means, Shogun?
What does that mean,
It means we got ourselves a real match, Shogun.
Oh, yes. We still don't have the button anywhere. We haven't implemented it, but it's somewhere underneath your desk.
There's a button to be pressed, and that button is the real match button. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be going into game number 7. Method Gale Force eSports, the winner, getting crowned European champion for Season 4 of RLCS.
It's going to be absolutely huge. As we come towards the end here, Norris will play it over into the corner, but there is nothing left to play for apart from maybe a very competitive warm-up. Norris looking for a lot. This will be a momentum breaker if they could get it, but it does not quite happen. It's going to happen right now, though. Game 7 between these two teams. I love that. You play for an entire season. You play against everybody once each. Then you go through an entire tournament bracket. You get to your best of 7. Doesn't really come down to that, though. You take one more game to decide if you're going to be regional champion.
10 shots to 11. 10 for Gale Force, 11 for Method. Starting to ramp up the pace on both sides of the pitch. Earlier, we saw 2, 3 shots, especially all today. A lot of passive play from all the teams, which is to be expected when there's a lot of weight on the line. But now we're starting to see them both ramp up. Method struggling to find boost, and it really shows when they can't find each other, they can't get it out of their half, they just don't feel comfortable. But what I do like is they can just flip that switch on immediately. The moment they all got something, they were just contest. They were able to get the shots off. That's why they were still able to get so much, even though it felt like Gale Force were in their half most of that game.
Yeah, it's going to be really important as we look at this game. Method, as you were saying, was starting to ramp it back up a little bit. By the time they were doing that, the game was effectively already over.
Yeah.
But at least if we put a game within a game and look at just the second half, Method looked like they were more themselves towards the end of that one. But an important thing for everyone right now is, yes, you should be looking directly at your screen, but also have one eye just into the corner a little bit every time the camera is on a Method player, just to take a look at how much boost they have, because that will dictate
How
their
talented do
ability
you
to
think
challenge.
everyone is? Can you move your eyes independently?
No.
Well, why do you expect everyone else to?
I'm just talking for like the one guy out there. But
the one guy who can do it.
The one guy, he is so happy with everything right now. But you know what everyone is happy with right now? The way this series has worked out. Europe comes down to this. Who will fly the banner as our head marksman heading into the World Championship in Washington, D.C.? Is it going to be Gale Force or Method? Let us find out, as the earlier pressure going over to Gale Force, but Magnus has got it controlled. This is going to be very dangerous, actually, for Method. They need to control their own boost, but they're only just spawning right now. K-Dot plays that one straight down. Magnus can take early control. There's a lot thinking better about trying to go for that one. 2 players close together. Magnus can come in and take control of the ball. Going to go for a second touch, as Metanaris does end up leaving it for him. K-Dot actually not getting the best contact onto this. Going to allow the follow-up and off the crossbar. Metanaris with goal number 1.
Meth will turn it around. A couple of shady decisions here and there for both teams, but Metanaris getting up quick. No one fully going for that save. All of them had the boost to get it, but no one from Gale Force dedicated to getting that. No one contested that in the air. And no surprise here, the moment anything in the box goes uncontested, you will see a shot coming shortly after.
And a shot that usually goes off the crossbar. Here's the follow-up from K-Dot. Now off the crossbar itself. Turboposa does get beat to the ball, however. A lot looking for Metanaris. Metanaris looking for the net, but Violent Panda finds himself a save, and a crucial one at that. Now K-Dot onto the other end of the pitch. End-to-end gameplay. K-Dot is going to do it by himself.
K-Dot patiently forcing the defender to make no decision. Magnus wanted a challenge, but the moment K-Dop waited for it, he was able to get that second flip, the delayed flip to get his car to pop it up just over that defender who was sitting and waiting. Tied game, 3:58 remaining.
RLCS Season 3 finalist, UORL winner. K-Dop would love to add European champion to his resume. Currently all tied up in this match. Metznaris would love to go for an individual play by himself or of his own. Able to do so, however, it's going to be pushed straight back into Method's half. Magnus does win the challenge. Metznaris comes straight in. It's going to go off the backboard, and he does look for K-Dop as well. Just jumping, maybe hoping for the ball a little bit, but mostly just to get out of the way of the oncoming challenge. To his car, Violent Panda, though. What a great hit that was. Now 2-1 to Gale Force.
The hit into the corner by yourself. Metznaris opting not to use the wall, instead just going for the aerial because of the way he was facing. He wasn't able to get at his team, waiting and relying on him. I got gas building up. I can't talk. I'm getting so excited.
Oh, it's happening all over the place. But I can understand your excitement for this one right now, Carpet. As he tries to recover,
heartburn.
so will Method.
Excitement, heartburn.
Method going from 1-0 up to currently 2-1 down. They need to find a way of correcting this state of affairs. A lot with a great touch off the ceiling. Almost able to do just that. Magnus with the setup, but a lot cannot quite beat Violent Panda. Now Turbo Pulsar with a pass straight over to K-Dop. That's just a little bit too slow.
The delay.
Pass over to Turbo! Incredible. Absolutely incredible.
Leave it to Gale Force to turn 2 solo plays into a single team play, working together, pulling out the defenders one at a time. The pass to Turbo Pulsar, splitting up the teams, 1 goal apiece now for all of Gale Force.
This has been incredible. These two teams played to game number 5 earlier on. They're playing to game number 7, but from the looks of it, it might have taken them 12 games, but Gale Force might have figured out Method. It's going to be a pass straight towards the middle. Metznaris will try and get there in time to try and block any oncoming offense from Gale Force. Half the match still left to play. Violent Panda going to come in, gets this pass off the side, but now don't expect Gale Force to commit any more than they have to at this point in time, maybe even just one. Still going to be dangerous if they allow too much pressure to come out from Method. Metznaris playing it past Turbo Pulsar by not playing the ball at all. Off the backboard, Magnus just gets there in time, a little bit dangerous. He came very close to hitting the crossbar himself. It would allow a free ball to be followed up by Gale Force. 2 minutes remaining, still 3 goals to 1 in favor of Gale Force eSports. Here's Metznaris. Plays the world high. It's going to be hard for Magnus to try and follow up, however, and should be cleared away. And balls that loop across like that are going to hurt Method even more because it takes so much longer for it to go into position for you to try and play it. Gotta be hoping to themselves, just hit the ball really hard at us right now, Gale Force, but it isn't happening.
And the less directed their touches get, the less passes you see in a Method, means they have less time to react. They're feeling under pressure. They feel like they need to get a harder hit or get it cleared to try and push Gale Force out of their half, which means they're starting to feel the threat of this team.
Every single player was forward as well for Method. Magnus able to rotate himself back. As Metznaris with a touch, but every single time they play it forward, Gale Force has got players, not just one, but usually 2 players around that can defend against them, so it's going to be ever so difficult for them to make their way through with 1 minute remaining. Ball up high, here is a lot. Cannot quite reach it, however. Violent Panda can just get another long clear. Gale Force, the time and the clock is their friend right now, and they can use that to their advantage. That's Norris, looking for Magnus, can't quite get there. Take this up the wall by himself, can't quite get contact, but Violent Panda forced to try and cover up for Turbo Pulsar. Magnus plays the ball down, just wasn't able to get anything strong enough to really test Gale Force, and more time ticking away, now 40 seconds left. Metznaris, that was an incredible touch.
That was actually insane.
Didn't quite get anyone to get onto the end of the shot, however, and Magnus will play it back into the middle. Violent Panda does end up leaving it because Alok's now going to take control. He's going to need to get a goal here, forcing some pressure. Magnus has now taken himself out of the game. Gale Force just need to clear this ball away one more time, and they might leave too much work left for Method to do. Europe is on the line as Turbo Pulsar down to the other end of the pitch. He's gone past the lot. He's gone past Magnus. He's gotten past Metznaris. That could very well do it. Gale Force are going to avenge both of their losses to PSG and Method and crown themselves European champions.
After starting off the season being called the best team in the world, struggling a little bit during league play. They showcase it here at the very end, crowning themselves European champions. Turbo Pulsa still got nothing but wins. He's got the Season 3 World Champion title, and now he's trying to gun for Season 4 as well. K-Dop getting it as well, adding to that resume of his Violent Panda. Congratulations to Gale Force eSports. Method fighting so valiantly, a team that when they came in, didn't really know what to expect. They stuck together after a bit of a struggle last season, but here they are coming in second place. They are nothing to forget about. Method Gaming playing just as hard.
Absolutely. For both of these teams, there are nothing but positives for the Method. This is a huge performance and a huge step up from where they were last season. And for Gale Force, obviously, we can talk all we want about them being the best coming into the season, but it's an entirely different story when we get the season down and we put the pressure on these players, and they've responded.
And they're the best at the end as well. Just kind of bookmarking the season for themselves, front and back. They take essentially what belongs to them as far as they're concerned. And Method, it seemed like they finally got figured out. Gale Force, as that series went on, it looked really dire for them in the beginning. Method on match point for 3 matches in a row. They just couldn't seal the deal. You saw Gale Force figure out what it took, try and just stifle them as much as possible, steal their boost, don't give them any room to breathe, and you see Method really start to struggle and feel suffocated in their half.
Absolutely. That is the reason why we have the best of 7 put in place for these grand finals. But congratulations to Gale Force and to break down how they became European champions. Let's hand this back over to Axeltos and the desk.
What a series to close out the regular season effectively, as Gale Force are your European regional champions, taking home $10,000 and also getting the #1 seed at the World Championships, meaning, of course, that means that the losers there, Method, will be getting the #2 seed going into the World Championships. But what a series there. I feel like they're getting better and better as Method had a lead. They're up 3-1, but Gale Force able to bring it back. Somehow, some way they did it. Let's check out the Mobile One High Performance replay and go through that one again. A best of 7 that went all the way to 7 games again, with Gale Force emerging as your European champions.
So 3 series ago, Axel, you were like, that might have been the best series when we had all those overtimes. And you're like, well, probably not. We'll probably get some better. And I thought you were a liar.
I said something right for
You
once.
were correct. And these series have been absolutely insane. Such a close game. Method, the passing from Method was working out so
that
well.
play from Violent Panda as well.
But then the solo plays started coming out from Gale Force. And we were talking about how Method is that passing team and Gale Force has that extra card up their sleeve of those solo plays. And we started to see that from Gale Force. And that was the difference. They both had 10 goals and 10 assists. 4 solo goals for Gale Force was the difference here in this match.
And 2 of those 4 solo goals in that final game. So those were critical moments, and Gale Force really stepped up. This game was very back and forth. There were 4 shutout games in this series. Gale Force won 2 of them. Method won 2 of them. So in the middle, just a lot of it was like a battle of the defenses, but in the end, Gale Force's offense was what really put them over the top, although Method still looked very strong. Their infield passing plays are the best that we've seen. That team with their passing has been insane.
I wonder how endurance works into all this. Obviously, it's the first time we're doing best of 7s throughout the course of the season, and we're seeing these battles that these teams are facing. It starts with, the series going long. We had that reverse sweep already with Mocket taking out PSG. So can you guys talk towards that a little bit as far as these, with the best of 7 series, what kind of openings does that leave for people to come in and maybe take advantage of a team that's not experienced in the longer series?
It's going to be tough to play in that super long series like Gale Force. They lost 3-1 to NRG back in the X Games, and everyone was saying, hey, they blew a 3-1 lead, and now they finally get that win back to avoid NRG as well. It's like, this is why you play in weeklies, I feel like. This is why you play in the Gfinities that go to that 7-game final to get that experience. Of course, the pressure's not there, possibly, but Method knows how to play in these series. And sure, they lost 3-1, or they lost a 3-1 series lead, but it's because they're playing Gale Force. And Gale Force can win any of those games as well. So I wouldn't take anything away from Method being maybe brand new to like the World Championship scene, because I think they come in with a lot of experience.
They do come in with a lot of experience, although the LAN experience and the pressure, definitely that check mark is in favor of Gale Force. You've got Turbo on that team, who is a reigning world champion. You cannot forget that. That guy, and in my opinion, he was the MVP of the World Championship. Devo had much flashier plays, but Turbo was solid as a rock.
We fought about that for a while, too, on the desk. We were going back and forth.
But really, Turbo and all of Gale Force, they proved today that they will live up to the hype. They have lived up to the hype. They're taking down this #1 seed. And Method, despite their, lack of experience, but Gale Force having a little bit more experience, I think Method can still feel very proud and very confident going into the World Championship.
For sure.
Yeah, and they are the number 2 seed going in, but that's still a pretty high seed. That means they face NRG, actually, on the official World Championship bracket. So that's the matchup to look forward to. But, speaking about Gale Force again, just an amazing day for them. Coming into today, they weren't guaranteed a spot in the World Championships. They were not. They had to win their first match just to get in. And they did that, and not only that, they got the number 1 seed going into the World Championship for the European region. So can you guys speak towards Gale Force as a team? We've talked about the brick wall of Turbo from that first series. We've talked about the dynamics of Violent Panda and K-Dop. What makes Gale Force so good? And especially if people are watching from home trying to improve their own play, or other teams are looking up to these guys, what are we looking out for that makes them such a strong team?
The triple threat.
Yeah, it's just all three can do it at any time, and they're so dominant. But it's also Europe, like we were talking about at the start of the show, the depth of the region. And there's only been twice where a team came in not as a top 2 seed and became the number 1 seed. And that was both these past seasons. Mocket last season, they had a battle through as the 4 seed, and now Gale Force here as the 3 seed. So, but it's just all 3 of them at any point can just go off in a series, and they don't need necessarily all 3 to do it. They only need like 2 out of 3. And usually 2 out of the 3 will be hot during a series.
And in this last series, K-Dop went off 8 out of the 14 goals for him. He was playing wonderfully. That passing play that he had where he controlled the ball and hit it up to Turbo in the final game, and Turbo knocked it in, it was a thing of beauty. And then even the Violent Panda goal where he was in the air, he faked it, went for the delayed shot. That was a stunning shot as well. And Turbo, a lot of people regard him as the best player in the world. So when you've got 3 people this individually talented, like Gibbs said, if just 2 of them are playing well, then they have a chance at still being the best team.
But plus, it's so scary because we talk about Method as a team. They're probably a better team collectively, but their skill's not there. And the probably easier thing to learn, I would think, is to learn to play as a team rather than become better at your own individual skill. So if Gale Force just gets better and better in these next 3 weeks in their team skill, no one's going to beat them at LAN.
Yeah, well, amazing to watch them in full display, coming into today, again, not necessarily having a guaranteed spot in the World Championships, able to beat Flipside Tactics and go all the way through the bracket. Huge congratulations to Gale Force for being your European champion, and this is a perfect opportunity to mention your player of the week for the European region, none other than K-Dop, and honestly, I feel like it could go to any member of that Gale Force team, but we rested on K-Dop. Just an amazing day for him to really help lead Gale Force to this championship title.
And if you can say he had a relatively quiet season compared to his MVP performance of the previous season, but today he really stepped up. Game 6, he scores 4 goals. Game 7, he had such clutch plays in that final series. We were all set. I'm like, probably give it to Turbo, but then K-Dop was showing up in that grand finals.
Yeah, and that really is when champions are made, is in those final moments. K-Dop, he is a finalist. He won the Universal Open with his current teammate Violent Panda. K-Dop, to me, really is a rising star. He is proving it time and time again that he is the best, one of the best players in the world, maybe only arguable or less than to his teammates. But K-Dop, he really, really earned this today. Some amazing plays and was a key factor in the Gale Force.
And plus, the hardest thing that K-Dop had to do this entire weekend was beat a blue team. Finally, a blue team gets taken out. They go 11-1 on the weekend, but you just can't take it away from Gale Force. We were talking about them all
Thanks
season
for bringing that up. I forgot about that.
Yeah, 11-1. Method couldn't finish it off. We'll see how it works at the World Championship.
It was down to the wire, 7 games, and it was looking pretty grim for Gale Force. They were down 3-1.
2 epic comebacks back-to-back. We had the reverse sweep and then a 3-1, so crazy today.
I mean, I predicted that to happen for the flip side match, but I meant to save
I didn't have to eat a shoe.
For a little bit later. We have a final bracket to take a look at, guys. Your final results from today. All best of 7. Again, we had 6 total matches. Mocket victory over Excel. A great day for them overall, honestly. Falling to Method, but pulling off a win against PSG. A huge victory for them in that 3rd, 4th place match. And then Method, a good day, but they ran into Gale Force. And Gale Force had the day that no one could have expected. A 4-1 over Flipside, 4-1 over PSG, and then finishing it out there all the way to 7 games. Just what a tournament here from Gale Force.
Yeah, but the best part is we got the the 4 best teams from Europe going to the World Championship. There's no question about that at all. So it's going to be a lot of fun to see how these guys compete. I feel like this will be the most competitive World Championships we've ever had, where
the first round is going to be
it's just
still
nuts.
insane.
Every single game is going to be nuts in the upper bracket, lower bracket throughout the entire tournament. And for the OCE teams, like, we still don't know what they're going to bring, and they still have 2 teams to come in. So
and they're all of the OCE teams right now are tied at 5-2
Exactly.
going into their final.
Yeah.
And we're going to get to that in just a second. But first, let's take a look at the North America bracket from yesterday. These matches unfolded very similar format to today. So if you missed it, definitely consider going back and watching at least a little bit of what we saw yesterday. Cloud9 are your North American regional champions going into the World Championship with the #1 seed. Ghost, a bit of a surprise, securing the #2 seed by getting all the way to the finals against Cloud9. And there you see NRG in G2. NRG getting the 3 seed with a 4-1 victory over G2.
So my favorite match to watch going into the World Championship is going to be that NRG on the 3 seed versus Method of the 2 seed, with NRG having 12 World Championship experience, or 9 World Championships of experience, and Method having 0.
Yeah.
And it's going to be really fun to see that very first match, see how it plays out with the veterans versus the rookies in that set.
Well, I think that's a fantastic point, especially, today, watching PSG, I suppose, this weekend, right? We have these newer teams, newer players coming in, new experiences for a lot of these teams. How are they going to perform when the matches are incredibly important? When we're on that big stage in front of thousands of people in Washington, D.C., what kind of reactions are we going to see from these players? So very, very good points there, Gibbs, I think. This brings us to, though, the OCE standings, and it could not be any closer. Top 4 teams there, 5-2, 5-2, 5-2, 5-2. Only 2 of those 4 teams will be advancing to the World Championship.
And plus, it's perfect because it's only top 4 make playoffs there.
Yep.
So don't have to worry about anything else.
No tiebreakers needed.
We definitely got the best 4 teams for OCE go into their playoff double elimination. I believe they're all best of 7 as well. So anything can happen there. We saw last time Alpha Sydney, it was a hard road for them, but they did pull it out in 7 games. So any of these teams can win, and I'm really excited to see some new faces from OCE, hopefully.
Yeah, absolutely. That's going to be a great time. And then also, I just want to touch on, too, the PSG. PSG, they lost that pretty epic reverse sweep by Mach-It. This is either going to be really, really good for them or really, really bad.
It's true.
They're a young team, all of them incredibly young, very new players. How are they going to handle this defeat? Honestly, I think it could be good for them because judging by just how Bluey has reacted on Twitter and those guys have reacted, you need to learn how to lose, especially in Europe and in this league when the competition is so tight. You shouldn't be expecting yourself to win every single game. So if you can remain calm and keep that stable mentality, it's going to do wonders for you, especially in a LAN event. But that was a tough loss.
They have time to turn things around, and they know their path more or less. They're going to be playing against the #2 from OCE, and then they would potentially play against Cloud9 if they were to win there at the World Championship. So definitely keeping a close eye on PSG to see how they do moving forward. But we have a surprise on the broadcast.
Ooh.
For anyone who's still tuning in, we actually have a player on the line. So happy to be able to talk to Violent Panda from GALE Force eSports joining us on the broadcast. Violent Panda, welcome to the stream here. How you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good after that win. It was a pretty intense series, but now we're fine.
What a day. I really don't know where to start because you guys came into today not necessarily guaranteed a spot in the World Championships, yet you go all the way through the bracket, you get that #1 seed. So let's go ahead and start with that last match we just saw against Method. You guys were down 1-3, and it seems like you guys have a knack in your history of coming together and figuring it out. Can you talk to me about the communication you had with your team when you're down 1-3 and you're trying to bring it back there against Method?
To be honest, we were 3-1 down, but I know my team has it in them to win it. So I just told them just calm down and focus, and we got the win after that.
Now, talk to me about your reaction from the match immediately after it happened, after you guys were able to win in 7 games there. What were your feelings, or what were y'all talking about as soon as y'all took home the victory?
Oh, we weren't talking about anything. We're just screaming.
That sounds about right. Well, this brings us to the first series of the day. Of course, the series against Flipside Tactics, as we're seeing some highlights from your match against PSG. Going up against Flipside Tactics as your first match, can you talk to me about your mentality coming into today, knowing that you have to beat Flipside to make it into the World Championships? How are you guys approaching today?
In general, we were a bit nervous, of course. Like everyone gets nervous in the playoffs. But in general, me and Kato were a bit nervous, and we just calmed each other down a bit and just took a sip of water and went on after the first loss. Like we lost the first game, I think.
Yes, you did.
And after that, we won 4 in a row. So yeah, that helped.
And you got to tell me that moment when you get that victory against Flipside. You're going to the World Championships. Talk to me about that moment after you got that victory.
It was the same as in the finals. We were just screaming and we were happy to go to Washington, D.C. So.
All right, we got to get you guys recording your comms or something, because I want to hear these screams. So congrats, regional champions for Europe. You're going to the World Championships at the #1 seed. Can you talk to me about the North America region, and then maybe just general expectations going into the World Championships as it's less than a month away?
I never look at the NA scene except for yesterday I watched, and especially Cloud9 and NRG look good, especially in the series they played against each other. That's why we are kind of happy that we didn't have to play NRG, because getting second would mean you would play NRG. But now, yeah, we're fine. We play against G2. Don't want to be cocky or anything, but that's easier than NRG.
Okay, a lot of confidence going into the World Championships. I like it. Violent Panda, thank you so much for speaking with us. Before I let you go, I want to give you the chance to give any shout-outs, say anything you want to say, throw down your Twitter handle and all that stuff.
Violent Panda RL, and I want to give a shout out to the org for supporting us so well. We had some problems in the past, and we just figured it out with each other. And of course, to our sponsors, NVIDIA GeForce and Ballistics. And that's it.
All right, Violent Panda, thank you so much for your time. Congratulations on your victory, and best of luck in the World Championships. All right, that's Violent Panda from Gale Force Esports. Great to be able to talk to him. What did you guys think of that?
More importantly, he helped my fantasy team become #1. So he's on my team.
I should have mentioned that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you should have.
He was a big fantasy winner.
Yeah,
I swear you were going to go with the handsome route.
He is handsome. Well, they're all handsome in Europe, man. It's just not fair. It really isn't.
Oh, man. Well, again, huge thanks to Violent Panda for coming on the broadcast here. Definitely go follow him on Twitter and show Gale Force your support, as they showed some true heroics today, becoming your European champion of RLCS Season 4. That's pretty much going to do it for the broadcast today, for the broadcast this weekend. Next up, we have the World Championships. But before that, we have the RLCS promotion tournament. That's 2 weeks' time from now. So we have 1 weekend off this next weekend, but then we jump right back into the RLCS promotion matches. And then, of course, November 10th through the 12th in Washington, D.C. is the World Championships for RLCS Season 4. Please be there. If you're watching right now and you're like, Washington, D.C., that's only 30 minutes away. That's only an hour away. That's only 2 hours away. That's only a 4-hour drive away. Go to the event. It's going to be a ton of fun.
The land of the free.
I don't even know how we're coming up with nicknames. I like that one. Land of the free. We've heard Washington Land, D.C.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it don't.
That makes zero sense.
And Amsterdam makes sense?
Amsterdam
makes
Washington, D.C.
Land makes sense for
La La
Amsterdam.
Land is much better than all of them, but...
Well, guys, before we sign out, any final thoughts here?
No, I got nothing, man.
I do.
What a day. Go ahead, James.
Buy
Take
tickets.
the floor.
Buy tickets.
True, buy tickets.
We want to see
more about the venue, dude. This venue,
the venue is insane.
Literally...
The venue is insane. I've heard there is possibly going to be the Switch version of Rocket League there. Possibly, I don't know.
He's getting in trouble now.
I mean, that's the main reason I'm going. Is just in case it happens.
Okay, all right.
I bought a Switch just for Rocket League, so I am waiting patiently.
This venue is epic. It's at the waterfront, or National Harbor, I should say. MGM. It's a venue. I think it was only finished December of last year.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah,
it's going to be awesome.
So please, I cannot emphasize it enough. If you have not been to an event before, it's going to be a ton of fun. We're going to be there. Say hi to us. November 10th through the 12th. But that's going to do it for the broadcast today. Congratulations to Gale Force, your European champions for RLCS Season 4. Coming up next, we have the RLCS promotion tournament 2 weeks' time. And again, the World Championships November 10th and 12th. Thank you so much for watching on behalf of Psyonix and of Twitch. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you at the RLCS promotion tournament. My name is Axel Toss. See you later.
Tries to play it through, but Very Peak from the back will send it away, and now Pondex in the net of Mock, and he's going to have to fall back quickly. It's Very Peak and Pashy falling down. Neilsko trying to do his best, but Very Peak will connect with Pashy. They'll put it through, make it a 2 goal.
Marky Judah looking to try and get Cooks here, who has got off the back door. There will be no follow-up, however. Mystic is not anywhere near back, and Kadar with an absolutely lethal shot.
If I go to Mythic's perspective, I want to know, he saw Kate up there, but I don't think he was expecting anything. He only had 28 boost, so him getting there for the bounce was possible.
Every time you go for a pass, we are going to be in position to take it over. Magnus going to take the shot. Everyone involved from Method. Game one, we'll head over to them.
Or not been thinking hard enough and made a tiny rotational error. But
Oh,
now,
the shot's on target. Magnus going to get a save. I think that was a post shot, actually.
counter shot, the
That's
hard
going to be going all the
play.
entire length of the pitch. 7 minutes and 10 seconds out of nowhere.
PSG moving around the corner, pass Kate up. Violent Panda's there, puts it back into the box, and he'll drop it in. Oh my goodness, upper 90.
They end up needing to give up some shots. The moment they finally bring it all the way down, all three have used nearly all of their boost.
Oh, Violent Panda. You beaut you.
Gibbs calls him VIP for a reason.
Look at that.
Oh, what
And just hits it with the bottom of the car. Just letting up. The Method have got themselves another opportunity. Going to go off the crossbar a lot with the follow-up. Hits the post as well. It has not gone in. Now the counter-attack down to the other end of the pitch. K-Dog takes the shot. It's completely open. And it will go in for a third goal. Gale Force survive and they thrive.